When Robert Downey Jr. stepped onto the Comic-Con stage as Victor Von Doom, it completely broke modern Marvel movies. Because for the first time in cinematic history, the ultimate hero and the ultimate villain share the exact same face. Why does Dr. Doom look identical to Tony Stark? Is this just marketing? Or is this an actual in-universe biological rule behind why Marvel keeps reusing the exact same actors? Think back to Avengers Endgame. That time heist subtly revealed historical anomalies in Tony Stark's birth records. Is Victor Von Doom an alternate Earth 616 variant adopted by the Starks? Or is Doom a completely separate soul from Earth 828 who just happens to inherit Stark's physical genetic code? Across 30 years of Sony, Fox, and Marvel Studio films, dozens of actors played multiple Marvel characters. What used to be dismissed as split film rights has now been retroactively turned into fundamental multiverse canon. Today we're breaking down the 3 distinct categories of Marvel casting overlaps, and the true reason why Dr. Doom wears the face of Iron Man. Category 1 represents the genetic anomalies. Actors who lived completely separate on-screen lives under the Marvel banner. The absolute pinnacle of this is Chris Evans. Long before he picked up the vibranium shield as Steve Rogers, Evans defined the hot-headed Johnny Storm in 2005's Fantastic Four. For over a decade, fans treated these as separate universes, until Deadpool and Wolverine turned his dual identity into the ultimate multiverse bait and switch. Then you have Ryan Reynolds. Before fighting for years to give us the comic-accurate Wade Wilson, Reynolds was cracking jokes with vampire hunters as Hannibal King in 2004's Blade Trinity. Josh Brolin pulled off one of the greatest double dips in comic cinema history, delivering the physical motion capture performance of Thanos in Avengers Infinity War, while simultaneously playing the time-traveling mutant Cable in Deadpool 2. Oscar Isaac was covered in prosthetics as the ancient mutant god in X-Men Apocalypse, before stepping into the MCU as Mark Spector in Moon Knight. Evan Peters played Peter Maximoff in Fox's X-Men franchise, only for Marvel Studios to exploit our meta-knowledge by making him the fake Quicksilver, Ralph Boner, in WandaVision. Jon Favreau played Foggy Nelson in the 2003 Daredevil movie, before directing Iron Man and becoming the foundation of the MCU as Happy Hogan. Michael B. Jordan played Johnny Storm in the 2015 Fantastic Four reboot, before delivering one of the MCU's most iconic villain performances as Eric Killmonger in Black Panther. Mahershala Ali gave an unforgettable performance as Cornell Cottonmouth Stokes in Luke Cage, before getting casted as Blade. Sam Elliott played the stern military commander General Thunderbolt Ross in Ang Lee's 2003 Hulk, before saddling up as Carter Slade, the Caretaker, in 2007's Ghost Rider. Jennifer Connelly played Betty Ross in the same 2003 Hulk film, later voicing Peter Parker's AI assistant, Karen, in Spider-Man Homecoming, ironically mirroring her real-life husband Paul Bettany's journey from AI Jarvis into physical body of Vision. Rebecca Romijn defined Mystique in the original X-Men trilogy, but also appeared as Joan the Diner Worker in 2004's Punisher. In the exact same Punisher film, Ben Foster, who played Spacker Dave, before spreading his wings as Angel in X-Men The Last Stand. The list of supporting doubles continues. I'm sorry if I butcher this, but Chiwetel Ejiofor played Baron Mordo in Doctor Strange before playing General Strickland in Sony's Venom The Last Dance. Gemma Chan played Minerva in Captain Marvel before leading Eternals as Circe. Michelle Yeoh was Alita Agord in Guardians of the Galaxy 2 before playing Ying Nan in Shang-Chi. Eben Moss Bachrach played Micro in The Punisher before becoming Ben Grimm, the Thing, in Fantastic Four First Steps. Russell Crowe went from Zeus in Thor Love of Thunder to Nikolai Kravenov in Kraven the Hunter. Matt Damon played an Asgardian theater actor portraying Loki in Thor Ragnarok, and also showed up as a redneck at the beginning of Deadpool 2. Even the 2002 Blade 2 cast forms a triple overlap. Again, sorry for the butchering of anybody else's names. Thomas Kretschmann played Vampire Lord Eli Damaskinos before becoming Baron Strucker in Age of Ultron. Tony Curran played Priest before becoming Odin's father, Bor, in Thor Dark World, and Finn Cooley in Daredevil. And in a touching nod to comic history, the core cast of the unreleased 1994 Fantastic Four film, Alex Hyde White, Rebecca Stabb, Jay Underwood, and Michael Bailey Smith were all brought back as civilian cameos in the Fantastic Four First Steps. Which brings us to Category 2, Multiversal Anchors. These are the characters whose physical face is so tied to their cosmic identity that their genetics remain constant across different realities. Patrick Stewart debuted as Professor Charles Xavier in the year 2000. 22 years later, he entered the MCU in Multiverse of Madness, playing the Earth 838 variant with the classic 90s animated hover chair. Hugh Jackman gave what seemed like his final farewell in Logan, only to return in Deadpool and Wolverine to portray a completely new multiverse variant of Wolverine who failed his world. Kelsey Grammer reprised his iconic role as Hank McCoy, Beast, in the post-credit scene of The Marvels. Spider-Man No Way Home brought Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin, Alfred Molina's Doc Ock, Jamie Foxx's Electro, Thomas Hayden Church's Sandman, and Ree Fison's Lizard. Deadpool and Wolverine pushed this further with Wesley Snipes returning as Blade, Jennifer Garner returning as Elektra, Daphne Keane as X-23, Channing Tatum finally suiting up from a unreleased Fox solo film that was cancelled years ago. Then you have the meta variants. J.K. Simmons played J. Jonah Jameson in the Raimi trilogy, but debuted a bald MCU native variant in Bruce Campbell made 3 distinct cameos in Sam Raimi's original trilogy: the ring announcer, the snooty usher, and the maitre d', before entering the MCU as Pizza Papa in the Multiverse of Madness. Michael Papajohn, Uncle Ben's carjacker in the 2002 film, appeared in The Amazing Spider-Man as an Oscorp guard. Category 3 covers the pre-MCU legends. Nicolas Cage starred in 2 Ghost Rider movies and is now stepping back into the live-action Marvel as Ben Reilly in Spider Noir. Ray Steven played Frank Castle in 2008's Punisher Warzone before becoming Volstagg in the MCU Thor franchise. Idris Elba played Moreau in Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance before standing as Heimdall at the Bifrost. When you study the science of the Marvel movies, a definitive multiversal rule appears. There are absolute anchors, characters who must look identical in every universe, and there are branching variants, characters whose physical appearance change radically depending on the timeline's genetic conditions, and like how Loki can be a woman, an alligator, or a frost giant. Which brings us directly to Dr. Doom in Avengers Doomsday. Victor Von Doom having Tony Stark's face isn't an accident. Marvel Studios is using our deep emotional connection to Iron Man to construct the most terrifying psychological threat the Avengers have ever faced. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure you smash that subscribe button. End of discussion.